What if a lost planet's explosion scarred Mars, left pyramids and eerie faces on its surface, and rewrote our DNA? Lock and load, because we're going to be talking about the planet Tiamat and the mystery that ties Mars to Giza. Are you ready to unravel this one? Billy Carson gives us a story of a planet he calls Tiamat, and he gives that credit to Zecharia Sitchin, an author who was prolific in talking about Thoth the Atlantean. It's an interesting story, whether it was Tiamat or had another name. Was there indeed a planet that rested between Mars and Jupiter? Now, the debris field that's there isn't quite enough to coalesce and make an actual planet. But if there truly was an impact as great as what is claimed, that would definitely send all the debris in all places, even creating the Oort cloud. So, where do we begin in this story? Well, we begin with the story of Tiamat. This long-lost planet called Tiamat, named by researcher Billy Carson, who drew the term from the ancient Sumerian mythology and the Babylonian epic Enuma Elish, where Tiamat is a primordial goddess tied to a cosmic catastrophe. Once thrived between Mars and Jupiter. Well, that is until a rogue celestial intruder changed everything. Enter Planet X, also known as Nibiru, a massive hypothetical world said to swing through our solar system on a wild elliptical orbit every 3,600 years, a concept that was brought forward by Zecharia Sitchin and his review of the whispered ancient text. This isn't just a planet, it's a cosmic wrecking ball. But is there any proof for a mystery planet called Tiamat? Well, there might be some clues. Let's zoom to Mars. It's a freak show of clues. The Valles Marineris, a canyon 2,500 miles long. Now think about that. That's almost as wide as the United States. And it scars its face like it took a direct hit from something. Maybe Tiamat's explosion. But there's more. Mars once had oceans. Scientists say a northern sea evaporated a long time ago, leaving salty traces. So where did it go? Then, new high-res photos from NASA's orbiters sharpened the face on Mars and Cydonia. Nostrils, eyes, a haunting stare, not just a trick of light. And nearby are pyramids that jut up, mirroring that of what you find on the Giza plateau with eerie precision. Here's the kicker. Data from Mars Express suggests a massive hydrogen explosion rocked the planet eons ago, stripping its atmosphere. Picture it. A blast so big it vaporized water, scorched the surface, and left Mars a husk. Clearly, Mars bears its own wounds. Once Earth-like, it cradled oceans, a thick atmosphere, and some, dare I say, artifacts of a vanished mind. Then came the unknown catastrophe, as NASA puts it. The Valles Marineris gashes its crust, a rift too vast for nature's quiet hand. The air stripped thin, and brims of Xenon-129. This is the most interesting find, because Xenon-129 only showed up in our own atmosphere after we began to test nuclear bombs. So where did Xenon-129 come into fruition on Mars? Maybe it wasn't a rogue planet that destroyed Tiamat. Maybe it was a nuclear war. This almost makes me think that Star Wars was history. Well, maybe not quite like Luke Skywalker. Our story now takes us across the ancient skies to the land of India, where the Mahabharata unfolds, a tale of a war so vast it shook the heavens themselves. Gods and warriors clashing in a cosmic battlefield, wielding weapons of unimaginable power. And the texts speak of the Vimanas, flying chariots darting through the clouds, the Astros blazing missiles that could level cities in a flash. The sky burned, the earth trembled, and the people below witnessed a spectacular beyond mortal comprehension. But what if these weren't just myths? What if these gods were visitors from the stars? Maybe Mars or Tiamat. And their advanced technology was mistaken for divine magic by the ancient eyes. A war of the gods, or a showdown between ancient aliens, leaving echoes in our history. And so the threads of our cosmic tapestry begin to weave together. We started with Tiamat, the shattered primordial world of the Mesopotamian legend. A planet some say once orbited where the asteroid belt now drifts, its destruction leaving echoes in the scars of our solar system. One such scar stretches across Mars, the Valles Marineris, a canyon so vast it dwarfs anything on Earth. Was it carved by natural forces, or does it mark a wound from an ancient celestial war, its artifacts whispering secrets of a lost epic? We found clues in the red planet's relics, strange formations and objects that defy easy explanation, hinting at a civilization long gone. Now the story circles back to Earth beneath the sands of the Giza Plateau, and recent discoveries have unveiled staggering truth. A vast underground network that stretches deep under the Pyramid of Khafre and beyond. The radar scans reveal cylindrical shafts plunging over 2,000 feet deep, spiraling pathways and massive chambers. And some say an entire hidden city lurking beneath the iconic pyramids. This isn't just a tomb, it's a labyrinth of purpose, perhaps a hub connecting the ancient world to the stars. And they're talking of staggering ages, 35 to 45,000 years. And here the trail leads us to Billy Carson's Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, where the mysteries of the halls of Amenti are described, a subterranean realm of wisdom and power guarded by the ancient beings. Could this newly uncovered network beneath Giza be the very halls of Amenti? Etched into the tablets' cryptic verses? The Emerald Tablets themselves speak of Thoth, a figure tied to Tiamat's cosmic lineage, who fled to Earth after its fall, and whose knowledge may have seeded Mars' lost civilization. Its artifacts a testament to the influence before it forged Egypt's hidden sanctuaries. Eons ago, advanced alien race, these so-called gods, fled Tiamat's destruction, scattering it across the solar system, while on Mars they left their mark, a scattered battlefield of artifacts chronicled in the tablets. On Earth, they clashed again with their aerial war over India, etching itself into human memory as a divine myth. And at Giza, they built a stronghold, an underground network beneath Khafre's pyramid, perhaps even the halls of Amenti itself. A command center, perhaps, or an archive preserving their knowledge, power, or even maybe healing chambers, linking their exploits across planets and times. And could these people be the Anunnaki, or were they a different race? So, how does scientist Greg Braden play into all of this? Well, he wrote a book, The God Code, and it explores the idea that our DNA holds a deliberate message, possibly linking back 250,000 years ago. Ancient beings maybe from Sumeria? I see a potential connection to the Giza Plateau, where these entities might have manipulated our genetic makeup, blending their essence into our humanity. Does that mean the pyramids could mark the site of this ancient experiment, with our DNA still carrying traces of their design? A coded legacy is waiting to be unraveled. Before we get into our remote viewing, if you're feeling stuck or drained, visit sallyknopf.com for energy healing, to clear your energies, unlock your potential, and even help others heal or explore remote viewing. And for those new or seasoned energy healers out there, check out mdhmap.com, your go-to companion to make energy healing simple and effortless. Start your journey today. Well, let's go ahead and do the reveal of the remote view. And this one surprised me. I actually got into a kerfuffle once with my own sister, insisting that there was a planet between Mars and Jupiter. But what I got was actually something a little bit more interesting. It feels to me that that debris field that is partially the Oort cloud, partially the asteroid belt, was actually a satellite to a planet we call Planet X, or in ancient history, Nibiru. I feel like Nibiru does exist, that it is in an orbit of 3,600 years around our sun. And it feels like as it comes through, it can create a little bit of havoc to not only us, but any other planet that it might actually get to. And in fact, it feels at times it has gotten close to some of our other planets and shifted their poles. So that surprised me. Now, what I got was that there was an explosion, an event that took place with this moon or this satellite. And when it took place, the blast scarred Mars, because Mars was actually one of the closest ones to it, as far as close is in outer space. And the face of it, it got the trajectory. So that's where all the craters come from, the scar on Mars, and what looks like that dark debris, that fiery debris field that you see going across there. And it feels to me that that event was so catastrophic that that's why we're seeing that Xenon 129, because it does feel almost like a nuclear explosion. But here's the thing. There's something odd with this whole thing. So I had to dig just a little deeper. And here's where it gets even more strange. So it feels that there was a group of, I think it feels to me like it was the Anunnaki that came in behind the planet Nibiru. And I feel like they're coming in stealthily, or I'm not sure why. I have no idea why. They could just be following the planet. I don't know. But they are behind Planet X, and they approach. I feel that there is a thriving civilization on Mars. And I feel like it feels to me that they are very already closely related to us, but they're more advanced than us, if you will. And so it does feel that they are suddenly caught off guard, and this rogue, I don't know what to call them. These bad dude aliens coming in behind. It feels like they're the ones seeking gold. They want gold. I keep hearing gold. So I feel like if we are to give them a name in our, quote, history, that would be the Anunnaki. And I feel like they're not a very nice group. And so when this advanced group, I feel that this civilization is pretty advanced and has been on the planet for a very long time. And the structures that we see are actually their ancient structures. It doesn't feel like it's something that is new to them, but something they held very dear. So there's a stretching back into their history, if you will. So there is this battle that takes place that is so obvious that it takes place that the inhabitants here on Earth can actually see it. They are seeing what's going on. Now, it feels to me that the inhabitants witnessing this, it goes further back than what we presume our mythology that comes out of India, if you will. It feels like it goes further back than that. Those are the eyewitnesses. And in this battle that takes place, it does feel that what we would understand as a nuclear weapon is what ends up destroying this moon that's been following X planet, or Nibiru, whatever you want to call it, but planet X. It destroys that completely, and in that destruction, its debris goes out, and basically it destroys the civilization on Mars, or most of it. Like, it sucks away the atmosphere and it boils off the oceans in this, it feels like a nuclear explosion. This is how it feels to me. I feel like some of them may have survived, but it's like very few going underneath. I feel like in this war, it does feel like Star Wars. You know, if you can imagine, you know, where the good guys and the bad guys are battling it out, and it feels like there are crashes on Earth, and some of these advanced beings do survive, and either they or the Anunnaki, some of these, one of them manipulated our DNA. And I'm going to have to go through and do another remote view to see who manipulated our DNA. So that's going to be coming up in another video. So be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss that one. This moon that has been following planet X, it feels like it's about the size of Mercury, maybe a little bit bigger. And again, it's just like it's a battleground, and all this stuff's going on, and it's intense. And so this mythology that comes out of India, I feel it's not mythology. I feel like they're witnessing history, but because in our human arrogance, thinking that we're the epitome of all, we tend to think, oh, well, we've never been that advanced, so this is just a mythology that they've sort of woven together and created this story. But I feel like what they're telling us is not a story, but they're witnessing a historical event. And one of these two, the Anunnaki or this other, there is a connection. I will tell you that. There is, it just came to me. There is a connection between these beings. There's the good forces, the bad forces, and somebody manipulated our DNA. And that's going to be coming up in a new video. Then we're also, in an upcoming video, going to be remote viewing the moon. Some people have said it's artificial. Or, you know, is it natural? And have we actually been there? And what's the story with that? Well, that's coming up in your next video. So that is what I've got for the asteroid belt and Mars. It is actually all connected. So to sum up, there was bad, nefarious, hoodle-doodling aliens that came in behind Planet X. They stirred a kerfuffle with the peaceful inhabitants of Mars. There was what was equivalent to a nuclear destruction, which is why we see Xenon-129 in their atmosphere. There were survivors, although very few, that feels like some of them went underground on Mars, and in some cases, if there were some ships above there, like the mythology talks about in the sky, some of them crashing to Earth, there are survivors there. Now, either they manipulated our DNA or the Anunnaki manipulated our DNA. I don't know which, but we're going to look into that. And in that, created our own civilization. So, it does feel that there are some bad ones still here. And I think that actually ties into Antarctica. Oh, we're going to have to remote view that one too. So stay tuned. We're going to be doing the moon, who manipulated our DNA, and what is under the Antarctic. So please, if you could, hit the subscribe button, and please, if you can, subscribe. It helps me so much, and I so appreciate it. Also, if you would like to remote view, let me know. Everybody can do it. All right, take care for now.